They told you it was England's year, Spain's system, Argentina's chemistry, Portugal's new golden age. Everyone's writing the same tired story about Europe's sleeping giants and South American magic. But while the world picks its favorites based on headlines and vibes, France just assembled something genuinely terrifying. And the scariest part? Nobody's even talking about them. 2 World Cups, 2 European Championships, 4 World Cup finals since 1998. A 2018 champion that lost Benzema, Pogba, Kanté, and Kunchu before Qatar and still came within penalties of retaining the trophy. France don't rebuild, they reload. And this version might be the most complete squad they've ever put together. Mbappe entering the tournament after back-to-back Pichichi seasons at Real Madrid. Dembele arriving as a Ballon d'Or winner and Champions League hero. Saliba anchoring a defense that just ended Arsenal's 22-year Premier League drought. Tchouaméni protecting everything in midfield. And a wave of young attackers who don't know what fear tastes like yet. This isn't hype, this is pattern recognition. And if you're not paying attention, you're about to get blindsided. The mistake everyone makes with France is treating anything less than a trophy like failure. Consider the actual record for a second. Beat Brazil 3-0 on home soil in 1998, final in 2006, lost on penalties. Beat Croatia 4-2 in Moscow in 2018, final again in 2022, lost on penalties after extra time. In between a Nations League title and a Euro semi-final in 2024. That's not decline. That's a country permanently camped in the final stages of every major tournament for 3 decades straight. The world didn't catch up to France. The world just set the bar so high that domination became the baseline expectation, and when they only reach finals instead of winning them, people call it underperformance. Name another nation with that problem. The 2018 team wasn't pretty and never pretended to be. Deschamps built a machine for one purpose: winning knockout football. Larus commanding the box. Varane and Umtiti locking down the center. Kanté vacuuming up every loose ball in a 20-meter radius. Pogba providing range and physicality. Griezmann doing the defensive work of a midfielder and the creative work of a 10 simultaneously. And then Mbappe, the weapon that made every opponent's defensive shape feel inadequate the moment they pushed too high. Argentina found out 4-3 in the round of 16. Belgium found out 1-0 in the semi. Croatia found out in the final, while having plenty of possession and still losing 4-2. France didn't outplay teams. They suffocated them, absorbed pressure, then punished mistakes with ruthless efficiency. Tournament football at its coldest. Then Qatar 2022 revealed something even more disturbing about how deep this program actually runs. Pogba out, Kanté out, Benzema ruled out before kickoff, Kunku injured, Kimpembe unavailable. Maignan missed the tournament. Lucas Hernandez tore his ACL in the first game. Any other nation, and the tournament is over before it starts. France reached the final. And that final against Argentina showed you everything you need to know about their DNA. Down 2-0, barely in the game for 80 minutes, looking genuinely done. Then Mbappe scored a penalty. Then 95 seconds later, he produced a volley that will be replayed forever. Then he scored again in extra time to complete only the second hat trick in World Cup final history after Jeff Hurst in 1966. 8 goals in the tournament. Golden Boot. France still lost on penalties, but the statement was made. Half broken, outplayed for most of the match, and still 1 kick from retaining the trophy. That's the foundation this team is built on. Now they're adding Dembele, Olise, Barcola, Duet, Cherki, Saliba, and Tchouaméni. A team that won tournaments on pragmatism and Mbappe miracles is now developing genuine creative depth. The Mbappe fear is old news at this point. Every defensive coach on the planet has a folder on him. Drop deep, compress space, force him wide, make someone else beat you, fine. The real problem with France now is that you can prepare perfectly for Mbappe and still get destroyed by 4 other people you didn't account for. Start with him anyway, because the numbers demand it. 25 La Liga goals in his second season at Real Madrid, 31 the year before. 56 goals in 65 league games across his first 2 campaigns. Back-to-back Pichichi winner. A list that includes Di Stefano, Puskas, Hugo Sanchez, and Cristiano Ronaldo. He's not just fast anymore, he's reading games differently now, knowing when to drift inside, when to wait, when to attack the blind side. Defenders drop before he even receives the ball. That's not pace. That's psychological control. And he's arriving at this World Cup having just completed consecutive Golden Boot seasons in the hardest league in Europe. Then there's Dembele, and this is where the story gets genuinely interesting. For years he was the most frustrating watch in football. Ludicrous talent, constant injuries, decisions that made you question everything. Then something clicked at PSG. under Luis Enrique. The 2024-25 season, Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League Player of the Season, 35 goals and 16 assists across the campaign, PSG's first ever Champions League title. He became a pressing trigger, a central threat, a wide outlet, and a connector. The version that used to beat 3 players and then fall over became a complete attacking reference. If France needed a second match winner alongside Mbappe, they now have one. And the terrifying part is that Dembele isn't arriving at this tournament as a luxury talent hoping to stay healthy. He's arriving as the best player in the world over the last 12 months. That's not the same France you saw in Qatar. Michael Olise gives France something they haven't always had: rhythm in wide areas. He's not just a player who runs past people. He pauses, attracts pressure, plays through the half space, clips crosses from impossible angles, and turns possession into controlled danger. 15 goals and 19 assists in the Bundesliga last season. Player of the season at Bayern Munich, where Mbappe threatens depth and Dembele breaks lines with acceleration. Olise manipulates tempo. France have always had athletes. Olise gives them craft. And when you combine that with the fearlessness of someone like Desire Douet, who scored twice and assisted in PSG's 5-0 demolition of Inter Milan in the Champions League final, the largest winning margin in Champions League final history, you start to understand the problem. Douet isn't polished in the conventional sense. He receives under pressure, drives into bodies, absorbs contact, and wants the ball again immediately. In tight tournament games when defensive blocks are set, and rhythm is everything, a player who simply refuses to be affected by the moment is worth more than people realize. Bradley Barcola adds verticality. His runs stretch defensive lines even when he doesn't touch the ball. His pressing brings energy from wide areas. His acceleration attacks the channel between fullback and center back. 11 goals and 1 assist from 21 starts for PSG last season. He functions as the constant stretching mechanism. If Mbappe drifts central, Barcola holds the width. If Dembele drops between lines, Barcola attacks behind. If Oli slows one side down, Barcola can explode on the other. Rayan Cherki brings the unpredictability that tournament football sometimes needs. Manchester City signed him from Lyon after a season of 12 goals and 20 assists. He's not as clean as Olise, not as direct as Barcola, not as lethal in transition as Mbappe, but that's almost the point. He plays off both feet, attempts passes other players don't see, accepts creative risk. When a game becomes too structured and predictable, Cherki is the type who finds a different door entirely, and Jean-Philippe Mateta solves a problem France have quietly had for years. They've often lacked a proper penalty box reference, someone who pins defenders, wins aerial duels, attacks crosses, and gives the team a direct outlet when space disappears. 8 league goals in 8 fixtures for Crystal Palace across early 2025, hat-trick against Bournemouth. First France goal against Belgium. Not every World Cup game opens up. Sometimes you need someone to make ugly pressure useful. Mateta is that player. Now here's the part that should make you angry. Everyone keeps obsessing over France's attack and completely ignoring the reason this team keeps surviving games other nations simply cannot. It's not the forwards. It's the fact that France can defend at a level most tournament teams only dream about. Start with William Saliba, because he deserves the full introduction. Arsenal ended their 22-year Premier League title wait last season, and the defensive platform that made it possible produced 19 clean sheets with Saliba at the center of it. Arsenal also reached the Champions League final, so he's arriving at this World Cup having just played some of the highest pressure football in club football. His value isn't tackles and blocks. It's control. He defends like a player who never needs to look desperate. His positioning buys him time before the situation becomes urgent. His recovery pace lets Arsenal hold a higher line. His composure stops a press from becoming a crisis. For France, that means Deschamps can ask the back four to do different things. Sit deep when needed, push higher when needed. And Saliba handles both. Dayot Upamecano beside him gives France something different. He's a front foot defender, wants to step into duels early, attack loose touches, compress the pitch before forwards can turn. That aggression carries risk and always has. But in knockout football, recovery power matters as much as positioning. Bayern extended his contract last season, which tells you enough about their assessment of him. Ibrahima Konate adds aerial presence and Premier League physicality. Jules Koundé adds versatility. Fast, strong one-on-one, comfortable on the ball, capable of defending a high line because he trusts his own pace to bail him out. Theo Hernandez on the left is essentially a bonus winger who occasionally remembers he's a fullback. Moved from AC Milan to Al Hilal in July 2025, kept his attacking profile sharp through the Saudi Pro League. He carries like a winger, attacks space aggressively, and gives France natural width whenever Mbappe drifts inside. The combination of those two on the left side of the pitch is a fullback's worst nightmare, one coming from deep at full speed, the other drifting across from a central position. Good luck. Behind the defense, Mike Maignan has replaced Hugo Lloris with genuine authority. At Euro 2024, France conceded only 3 goals in the entire tournament, and his command was a significant reason why. 3 decisive saves in the 1-0 win over Belgium alone. Serie A, 14 clean sheets in 37 matches last season, save percentage above 75. He's aggressive off his line, strong communicating with his defense, comfortable distributing wide, and the kind of goalkeeper who makes a back four feel more confident just by being there. France moved from one elite tournament keeper to another without anyone really noticing. And that's the point. This isn't a team relying on individual brilliance to cover structural problems. This is a system that keeps producing world-class players in every position and integrating them seamlessly into a framework that's been winning for 3 decades. The midfield underneath all of this has evolved to match. Aurélien Tchouaméni is the anchor. He's not Pogba's replacement, and he's not Kanté's, he's something different. At Real Madrid last season, over 2,600 La Liga minutes, consistently strong for ball regains and defensive stability. He reads danger early, covers fullback zones, gives center-backs protection before the emergency arrives. In a team with this much attacking ambition, someone has to protect the space behind it. Tchouaméni does that quietly and effectively. Warren Zaïre-Emery gives France maturity ahead of schedule. Built inside PSG's high-pressure system, he can play as an interior, hold position, receive under pressure, and keep rhythm moving without forcing the game. Manu Koné adds carrying ability, duels, and midfield bite. 28 Serie A starts for Roma last season. Then there's the experience layer, Adrien Rabiot for tournament reliability and left-sided balance. And Kanté, yes, still Kanté, who at Fenerbahce last season started 18 games in the Turkish league. His France value was never really about goals anyway. It's about reading danger before it becomes danger and making frantic games feel calm. Put it all together and you understand why this French attack might be the most complete in international football right now. In 2018, France were frightening because of physical power, defensive discipline, and Mbappe's transition speed. They still have all of that, but now Dembélé destabilizes. Olise creates rhythm. Duet attacks without fear. Barcola stretches the pitch. Cherki invents. Mateta gives box presence. And a completely rebuilt midfield protects everything behind it. Not one superstar, not one plan. Answers for almost every type of match. But the structure these defenders operate in is where Deschamps often gets undersold. France don't defend like a team chasing the ball everywhere. They defend like a team that understands tournament risk. Compact mid-block. Central space is protected first. Wide players tucking in, midfield narrowing. Opponents are often allowed to circulate outside. The central lane stays closed. That's deliberate. France would rather force teams into predictable wide attacks than let them combine through the middle, which is where the real damage gets done. The press is selective, triggered by a bad touch, a backwards pass, a square ball into midfield, a center-back receiving with a closed body shape. That's when France jump. If the trigger isn't there, they reset. No panic, no wasted energy. That patience is exactly why they keep surviving into the final rounds of tournaments. They don't need to look dominant every minute. They need to stay alive long enough for their attackers to settle it. And when you combine that defensive foundation with everything in the attack, the full picture becomes genuinely uncomfortable for everyone else. France can defend deep, they can counter at terrifying speed, they can press in specific moments, they can go direct to Mateta when space disappears, they can attack in behind with Mbappe and Barcola, they can create through Olise, they can destabilize with Dembélé, they can find a different route with Cherki, they can carry through pressure with Duet, they can protect transitions with Tchouaméni, Koné and Rabiot, they can add tournament experience and calm with Kanté. And here's what this all means going forward. Deschamps confirmed he's leaving after 2026. This is the final chapter of a reign that started in 2012, delivered the 2018 World Cup, and brought France back to the final in 2022. That gives this tournament a different emotional weight for the entire camp. It's not just another France cycle, it's the last one. The last chance for Deschamps to cement a legacy that already includes a World Cup as a player and a World Cup as a manager. The last tournament for a group of players who have been together through multiple finals and know exactly what winning one feels like and what losing one costs. That's dangerous. Not because it adds pressure, but because it removes doubt. This group has nothing left to prove individually. Mbappe has his Pichichi trophies. Dembélé has his Ballon d'Or. Saliba has his Premier League title. Tchouaméni has his Champions League medals with Real Madrid. They're not coming to this tournament hoping to make a name. They're coming to finish something. England have talent, but they're still figuring out how to turn individuals into a team. Spain have control, but they lack the physicality to survive ugly knockout matches. Argentina have chemistry, but they're aging and relying on Messi magic one last time. Portugal have depth but no clear identity under Martinez. France have athleticism, defensive power, transition speed, elite creators, match winners, Champions League experience, World Cup experience, and a manager who has spent 14 years turning difficult games into winning ones. They went unbeaten through World Cup qualifying, won 5 of 6 games, scored 16, conceded 4, beat Ukraine home and away, beat Azerbaijan home and away, sealed qualification with a 4-0 statement in Paris. This isn't a team finding form. This is a team that never lost it. People still discuss France as if it's Mbappe and a collection of fast athletes. The reality is, Saliba's control, Mignon's command, Upamecano's aggression, Koundo's versatility, Theo's left-sided thrust, Tchouaméni's protection, Olisse's creativity, Dembele's transformation, Duet's fearlessness, Barcola's verticality, Cherki's invention, Mateta's physicality, and Mbappe's finishing. France aren't built to entertain. They're built to survive, adapt, and punish. In a World Cup, that's the most dangerous combination there is. So while everyone debates whether it's England's time or if Spain can reclaim their throne or if Argentina can pull off one last miracle, France are doing what they always do, staying quiet, building something complete, and getting ready to remind the world that when it comes to tournament football, there's what everyone talks about, and then there's what actually wins. You can ignore them if you want. Just don't be surprised when they're lifting the trophy in July and you're wondering how you missed it coming.